Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, so let's start. Okay, so this event will be for extracurriculars for people that are going to be doing computer science or engineering or and all those streams. So wait, Vansh, are you recording?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Okay, so we'll be looking at extracurriculars for computer science. I've seen a lot of questions on this topic, so an event was probably beneficial for everyone.
All right, let's start. Should we?
Yeah, switch.
Let me start. Okay, perfect.
Okay, so in this event, there are three speakers. Firstly, there's me, Mario. Then there's Asterisk and Vanch. So we will start with the introductions. So for my extracurriculars, I have competed in 3 hackathons. I won one. Uh, some people already know what I made. Uh, I made a study resources website called Study Haven. I've got knowledge of multiple languages: Python, JavaScript, Ruby, Lua, Rust, and a few more. And I've also had experience in using many libraries as well. Fast API, SvelteKit, Flask, Django, and all those. And I'm trying to pursue AI and machine learning right now. I've started taking a course on it. So yeah, we'll move on to Asterisk.
Hello, I'm Asterisk, one of the speakers. For my extracurriculars, I won a national hackathon in the University of Birmingham. I developed an app using purely Flutter and won the best well-being app in the UAE for it. And it's on its way to being released. I did a TEDx, and I'm knowledgeable in a lot of languages and frameworks. On to Bunch now.
Okay, so I have participated in an online internship, one-to-one, with a US firm. I was a full stack Next.js developer to replace one of the old in-house tools they had for an HR management firm. I am currently part of an internship in which we are recreating an accountant's website, a blog site. I'm also a major web developer in this server, our IGCSE. I also have quite a few unreleased projects that I'm currently working on. I might release them soon. I have quite some knowledge of JavaScript, Python, Flutter, game development using Unity, and I know frameworks such as Next.js. Okay, so starting off, let's introduce the topic with extracurricular activities and supercurricular activities. Starting off, extracurricular activities are the additional stuff you do beside your studies in totally unrelated fields. For example, your clubs, tournaments, MUNs, volunteering, nonprofits, that stuff. Conversely, supercurricular activities are those which complement your career field, for example, computer science for most of you here, and they're strongly linked to your curriculum and your field. These are focused on expanding your skills in areas you might regard as potential career fields, for example, front end developer, DevOps, server side, that stuff. Uh, these may be internships, part-time work or projects that relate to your areas of interest, which we will get to later. Supercurriculars are really highly regarded at universities in countries like the US, the Ivy Leagues, and this makes having an extensive supercurricular portfolio the perk that decides your offer letter. Moving on. Here are some popular supercurricular activities you might want to take part in as part of your portfolio. First off, if you haven't already, you should dive into some highly demanded programming languages and frameworks, looking at the market. For example, currently AI is at an all-time high, so it might be perfect if you're just getting into computer science to go into AI and learn frameworks such as PyTorch. Uh, the number of languages you know, Python is one, of course, in this field. The number of languages you know defines your versatility. So having multiple programming languages in your belt, under your belt, is a great perk. However, you should not overdo this. You should also get really good at one or two languages, which will be your primary ones, and have basic knowledge of the rest. Furthermore, you should demonstrate your skills by creating projects which focus on real world problems and compete in programming tournaments and hackathons to gauge your expertise. It is also really recommended, in my opinion, to contribute to major repositories on platforms like GitHub and NPM, which again we will get to later. Once you have substantial experience under your belt, dive into the holy grail of your perfect portfolio, internships. Uh, Internships are the very best way to gain experience of real world work and the jobs or ventures you might be into in the future. And they reflect greatly on your profile, one of the best. Lastly, it is just as important, in my opinion, to document your work. Every internship you do, every experience you have, create a blog that highlights what you learned from it and what you've gained from it, especially contacts and experience. Uh, in the field of software development, a blog could be yet another project in your collection, and it's really easy to get right, so it's highly recommended. Moving on.
Okay, so we'll speak of the first extracurricular, which is learning new languages. So I think everyone knows that one of the keys of computer science is being able to make a computer do what you want. And to do that, you need to know a scripting or a programming language. So in the like right now, there are many different languages you can learn, ranging from high-level interpreted languages to low-level compiled languages. And some of the best picks include Python, JavaScript, the C languages like C++, C, and C Sharp, and Java. The only beginner-friendly language here is Python. The rest are slightly more complex because of their syntax, mostly. So if you are new to programming or scripting, I suggest learning Python first because it'll help you with some of the basics of programming, which will help you in the long run, making it easier to learn other languages. Okay, so we'll get to their uses. We'll start with Python. So Python's primary usage is mostly back-end web applications or APIs and machine learning or data science. But it can also be used for making games using a popular library called Pygame, if some of you have heard of it. So yeah, to get started with Python, you can easily download the Python exe from python.org. Okay, so moving on to JavaScript. So JavaScript is mainly used for web development. You can use it for backend and frontend. Usually, you see websites use JavaScript most of the time especially for the front end because that's literally the only language you can use for it. And for front end development in JavaScript, you will need knowledge on HTML and CSS. There are many websites where you can learn HTML and CSS. Some of them I'll include at the end. We'll include at the end of the presentation. And to get started with JavaScript directly, you need to download a JavaScript runtime called node.js. You can easily search it on Google and find it and download it. So that's JavaScript. Next, we'll talk about the C languages. The C languages are like one of the oldest, some of the oldest languages right now. The oldest and most popular languages. So, and they're basically every other language like Python and Lua are built on top of these C languages. So Lua is built on top of C, and I think Python as well. So you can use these C languages mostly for game development. For game development, you use C#. Then there's application development. You usually use C++ for that. And there's also system software. So like you can make operating systems, drivers, DLLs, all that stuff using C. These languages are like extremely low level. So there's a lot of concepts to learn. Like you need to know the extreme, like you need to know the insides of computers and how exactly they work for you to have like the best understanding of the best usage of these C languages. Yeah. So I suggest learning other languages first before learning these C languages. Next, we'll take a look at Java, which is another low-level language. You guys probably know it most popularly for Minecraft. Minecraft is made based on Java. And while it's not primarily used for game development, it can still be used. I mean, there's Minecraft and there's a few other games that use Java as well. But most people mostly use Java for Android application development. So you can either use Java for Android development. You can either use Java, or there is this new language called Kotlin that got released by JetBrains, if you've heard of it. And again, since this is a very low-level language, you're probably better off learning like Python or something first. And obviously, there are a ton of other languages you can learn. These are just the popular ones. You can learn languages like Rust, Lua, Ruby, Go, and many more. You can research. I suggest researching on languages to find which one is perfect for you, which one you like best. Start with multiple languages and make at least 2 languages, as Vansh said. Make at least 2 languages as your primary languages. So you'll have to develop most of what you like on those languages. Okay, moving on.
All right. So let's get to projects. So when you're thinking of applying to high-profile universities or jobs in the future, having a project base that defines your experience in computer science is really vital. It indicates your level of expertise, your creativity skills, and your disposition towards thinking among leadership and others. Projects give you top-notch experience when it comes to managing projects like that, making decisions, and perhaps most importantly, they develop your skills to build a large-scale vision and successfully execute it. In addition, if you're in a team, these projects could help you network and build connections, which also groom your leadership skills. Projects you decide to make should focus primarily on solving a real-world problem and not reinvent the wheel, or in other words, create what's already existing. You must try to build upon existing tools, though, but make sure not to recreate what's already there. The uniqueness of your idea is key to a project success. Okay, moving on.
Okay. Tutoring is a very underrated extracurricular that I've barely seen anyone do in regards to computer science. If you're a person who knows at least one language pretty well, or you're familiar with it, you can use that knowledge to begin tutoring and teach other young children or students to get started and stuff. This can be done in many ways. Schoolhouse is a website where you can sign up to do tutoring by submitting a tutor application and completing the training. This allows you to host computer science sessions and earn volunteering hours. This is a very good way for boosting your portfolio. And one method I've personally done is hosting a couple sessions in real life in my school, both in real life and Zoom. So if possible, try contacting your school and try creating a learning initiative where you teach younger kids about programming. This is a very good method in boosting your portfolio and solidifying your knowledge. Some of you may not be familiar with the concept of competitive programming, so let us break it down real quick. You can imagine it as a sports for programmers or a math competition, but coding style. The essence of competitive programming is to write code to solve problems you're given. Now, these problems can be anything. For example, write code to find the longest sequence of consecutive numbers in a given list of numbers. Now, at first, this may seem useless regarding the session's topic, but it really isn't, as it sharpens your problem-solving skills. It boosts your efficiency and creativity, and so on. And these are very critical skills in winning hackathons or developing good projects. Now, on to hackathons. They're sort of like an invention marathon. And what I mean by that is bringing people together to brainstorm, design, and develop software or hardware projects within a limited time frame. Now, although I imply having a team, hackathons can also be done solo. Hackathons often start with a challenge or theme announced by the organizers, and you, if alone, or your team begin to brainstorm ideas, build prototypes, and present these creations to judges. Hackathons are a really good learning experience to boost your skills and fuel your creativity, as well as the main topic here, which is boosting your portfolio. Internships give you the opportunity to work in the field you're intended for in industry level, gaining practical experience and exposure to professional development, which universities value a lot, as Vansh said. So it is quite a good extracurricular. However, this is a bit tricky, and not everyone is guaranteed to get one, as in some countries it's near impossible to get one, unless you have connections. And usually you would need to develop skills to get accepted as an intern. However, on the chance you get accepted, make sure you learn from the experience, as not only does it boost your profile, but it's a very, very good learning experience and preparation for the real world. Internships can be both in real life or in person. We'll talk about some of our other supercurriculars a bit more in depth, starting off with contributing to GitHub repositories, as Vansh mentioned before. Contributing to GitHub repositories can be an enriching supercurricular activity that will strengthen your programming skills and build a valuable portfolio. But what does it exactly mean to contribute to a GitHub repository? There are many open source repositories on GitHub, meaning anyone can view, download, and most importantly, contribute to them. Contributing to a repository can mean fixing bugs, adding new feature, improving existing code by making it more efficient, or even helping with the documentation. It's really good at sharpening your collaboration skills, as you'll be contributing along with many other developers. And it will very much help in deepening your knowledge. Contributing to repositories become a tangible showcase of your coding abilities, where universities are able to see your coding abilities, problem-solving approach, and so on. This can be a major advantage when applying to universities if done right. I'll be moving on to the next one, which will be spoken about by Mario.
Okay, so blogs and devlogs. So usually when you create a project or anything like that, it's best practice to document your projects, because first thing, if like for example you leave the project for some time, coming back, it's very easy to understand the project if you have documentation. I mostly use documentation for like as a past record of my projects, because usually you list what mistakes you do. You list what you've learned, stuff like that, and universities really appreciate that. For blogs, there are some websites where you can upload your own blogs and stuff too. And for devlogs, it's usually best to create a video or like on YouTube or something, and just explain what you've gone through for each devlog, what you've made, how you made it, and just in general explaining what new things you've added. It's really beneficial because it helps you keep track of what you do. It helps you keep organized, and you don't make mistakes, the same mistakes you make before, stuff like that. And obviously, universities again, they really appreciate these. It just increases your chances because, like, it shows universities the learning process you've gone through. It just makes them appreciate it a bit more. Okay, so frameworks. So adding to what I said about learning languages earlier and what Asterisk said about projects, frameworks are an extremely essential part of projects. You can think of frameworks and libraries that people make as like preset code that covers complex algorithms and stuff that you may not want to do repeatedly and deal with. And they're extremely useful because they just make the development process easier and quicker. So there are different frameworks you can learn. It obviously depends on what exactly you're pursuing. So there are game development frameworks, web development frameworks, frameworks for data science, AI, all that stuff. And these frameworks are available on like almost every language, like on Python, on JavaScript, TypeScript, Rust, all these languages. You can just get and there's like thousands of them, so it's really easy to choose. So I'll give some examples of some frameworks. For web development in JavaScript, there are three. I'll give examples of three frameworks. First, there's Angular, which is made by Google. There is React, which is made by Facebook, and my personal favorite, Svelte. These are front-end frameworks, so they're usually made to make used to make static sites and stuff like that. And for backend frameworks, there's Express.js, there's Next.js, there's SvelteKit, and there's Django. And Django is for Python. Obviously, these frameworks these aren't the only frameworks available. There are like thousands of different frameworks you can choose from. It all depends on what you like and how you prefer coding. So and then for app development, there is React Native and Flutter for Android and iOS development. There is Electron and Tauri for Windows and Mac development. And there's also .NET, but that's usually only for Windows. So it all depends on what you like, how you like to code, what you prefer, and all that. So I'll give a few examples of where these frameworks are used. So first, there is Gmail. Gmail is made by Google, and Google created Angular. And they use Angular for both the front end and back end, I think. Then there's Facebook. Facebook uses React and Svelte for their website. I think they use they use React for the front end, and I think they use Next.js for the back end. Then Apple uses Svelte for their website. Spotify as well uses Svelte and Django. Discord uses Electron. So what you're using right now, it's Electron, and Electron is based on JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. So like you can make an application by just using like what you know about web development. Then there's Instagram. Instagram uses Django for their website. They use it for their backend. And Google uses and Google's Gemini the AI model, what they use, was trained on TensorFlow and PyTorch. TensorFlow and PyTorch are like machine learning frameworks. You can use them to train machine learning models and run them. So as you can see, all these frameworks are used by pretty large companies, and it's easy for anyone to get into. You just need to go to their documentation and just learn the framework. I think a few of these frameworks have custom-made tutorials, like Svelte. Svelte has a custom-made tutorial that works really well for beginners. So, and yeah, Torch, NumPy, Pandas, and scikit-learn are also used for AI and ML. I just didn't mention them. Okay, so that's frameworks. Next.
All right, here's some additional stuff that you might want to keep in mind. So, first off, as a student, being a developer, a programmer is a massive achievement. And you will have crazy good privileges at this state. Most services and tools you decide to pay for will give you a handsome discount just because you're a student. For example, Adobe. You also have access to a vast resource, open source code. You can always inspire from it and make your code better. And it is by no means bad to use this code because the developers who made it put it there for precisely this reason, to benefit everyone. If you really need help though, even after all this, you should never hesitate to call out other developers. Shout out to everyone who's here. Remember, you are a part of a really friendly, vast community, and people will almost always be happy to help when you have a problem. Being part of this community also means you can get mentors to help you out, and perhaps you could once be a mentor too.
Okay, so I guess so. These are a few resources that can benefit you quite a bit. So first resource is on GitHub. It's called Build Your Own X, and it's a repository where where people contribute all different types of projects that you can make in multiple languages and just upload it there. So you can use it to refer to different projects you can make. You can get ideas from it, and if you don't understand something, you can see how they built it, just to give you an idea of how you can make yours. There is also another website called codepen.io, and people make CSS, JavaScript, CSS, and HTML components and just upload them there. So you can easily get ideas from there for like your website's design. If you don't get something, you can just search it up. I'm sure you'll get whatever you want over there for websites in JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. And the next one is W3 Schools. And honestly, this is one of the best resources you can use for learning a programming language. I have learned from it, and I'm sure a lot of other people have learned from it as well. And I can say that they document programming languages and frameworks really well. So I just highly recommend it for learning. If you're like a complete beginner, you can just learn anything from there, any programming language or any framework. Just make sure that you don't pay anything, anything for any certificates or anything from them, because usually their certificates aren't very recognized. The next one is Figma. Figma can be used for website design and UI, and obviously you can also use it for making plans, making roadmaps and stuff like that. It's just very versatile. It's a very versatile tool. So you should use it if you're like for planning a project. Next is for people that want to do hackathons and competitive programming. You can use CodeChef and LeetCode for competitive programming. They have like thousands of questions you can practice. LeetCode even has some questions that popular companies like Google, Apple, Facebook usually ask in interviews. CodeChef mostly has questions for coding competitions, competitive programming competitions, and they also have explanations. They have a forum, so you can ask questions and stuff like that. Next is and for hackathons, you can use a dev post and Major League Hacking to find many hackathons. They have like thousands of different hackathons, and also most of the hackathons are like from popular hosts like Google, Microsoft, Amazon, AWS, and stuff like that. Next is Net Ninja and Tech with Tim. These YouTube channels are extremely good at explaining programming, like the basics of programming. They teach programming languages, frameworks, and usually they have like an entire playlist based on them. They do project-based learning, so you create a project along with them while watching the video, so you understand exactly what you're doing, how you're doing it, and what it does. So that's and also there's Fireship. You can use Fireship for updates on the tech world, and he has a few free courses. He also makes some summarizations of different programming languages and frameworks, so you can definitely check him out. The next one is GitHub/education. GitHub.com/education is. I just want to stress that you guys are students and that a lot of companies provide amazing paid resources to students for absolutely free, as Vansh mentioned. And one such company is GitHub. And the special thing about them is their student developer pack. It includes resources from many different companies such as JetBrains, DigitalOcean, and Microsoft. And you get all of these, almost all of these you get for free or discounted. And all you have to do for this is sign up for GitHub Education and just log into these other companies' websites with GitHub, and you'll automatically get all these benefits. So it's really easy to get all these things using GitHub/education. The next one is Schoolhouse. As Asterisk said, tutoring is extremely underrated for an extracurricular. And schoolhouse.world is a very good website where you can tutor others for extracurriculars. So you should definitely check it out. Okay, next. Okay, so that's the end. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, you can go ahead and ask, and we'll answer them. An Olympiad. Olympiads usually deal with competitive programming. Hackathons are different and Olympiads are different. Hackathons, you deal with making projects, and Olympiads, you deal with competitive programming, so algorithms and structures and stuff like that. Both are highly regarded in an application, but usually I prefer hackathons because you get a lot of experience with different languages, frameworks, and stuff like that. But remember that there are two different things, so like just choose wisely.
Also, in hackathons, you're usually in a team, so you show your leadership skills, project management skills, your practical skills when it actually comes to developing a real world application. Versus in Olympiads, there's usually less creative room for that stuff to happen. So hackathons, in the eyes of universities, I think are like much more considered compared to Olympiads.
You can join development servers for finding other people. There's like just development servers in general, like Discord developers, the Discord developers server. Then you can join some framework servers, language servers. It's really easy to find. You can also search on GitHub. It's pretty easy to find other people for teaming up. Team stuff definitely helps. Teaming up with other people, like you get to understand what other people use, and if like other people, like if someone else uses a different framework from you, you usually get to learn that framework. It's pretty easy. It's pretty nice. So I suggest doing teamwork is better than just doing solo. Yeah, CS50 is pretty lengthy. I suggest first like using W3 schools for the basics because it's really short and easy to learn. Start with Python. Do not touch Lua. I don't suggest touching Lua unless you want to go game development. And even if you do want to go with game development, just learn C#. Lua is not worth it. To start learning Python, you can use either CS50p or you can use W3 schools for learning. I think Panch, can you go to the previous slide?
Yes, one sec. This, yes.
So
W3 schools is a really great helper. Give me a sec. What just happened? I'm sorry. Yes.
a web app and a website, they're basically the same thing, I think. But like a website is more like has a front end, and a web app doesn't have to have a front end. Like a web app is basically an API, and you can add a front end if you want. But a website is an API with a front end.
Also, in many cases, the term web apps refers to like progressive web apps. Those are installable websites that work partially offline. They have like increased capabilities, increased APIs. For example, you can share resources from your phone to web app, but you can't do website. But it's based on the website architecture.
Yeah. Yeah, spam meaningful projects. That's like the best thing. Just grind. But make sure like they're actually meaningful. Don't just make like a portfolio website or something and consider a project. Remember that universities don't consider portfolios as projects, and like basic apps like a weather app or a to-do list app, just don't make those and show them to the university. You're embarrassing yourself.
Uh,
Usually when applying, like people like some universities use Common App. You usually just add them to the Common App. And for the authentication of these projects, I don't think a lot of universities require you to like show proof of the extracurricular, but some do. So just make sure that you have your sources available. Like for example, you can include a portfolio website or something in your application where you include all your different projects and stuff. So yeah, that's like the best way to go about it. Like just the portfolio website as proof. But for actually submitting the extracurriculars, they usually have an interface for that.
Also, proof might also be considered as certificates for internships, nonprofits, endurance, that stuff. So certificates from part-time work, maybe if you're into that stuff in programming, that counts as really concrete proof.
Yeah. No, you usually apply before starting A2. Oh yeah, you can also apply after the mocks. The mocks serve as predicted grades. So yeah, you need to apply after the mocks. Um, for projects, I think I listed uh, a GitHub repository. Build your own X. Just go through that so you can get some ideas, and also make sure that you don't build the same thing. Like if you see a problem that other people are facing, you can easily convert that into something into a project that you make. So, for example, I saw a problem with topicals, like Markin didn't give reliable topicals and mark schemes, and so I decided to make Study Haven, and yeah, just do it like that. Find problems and then solve them using projects. Um, Me personally, I don't trust courses on ML and AI, like because they're pretty new. I'd rather do computer science for bachelor's of sciences instead of trusting AI and machine learning. But that all depends. If you're really interested in machine learning, then you can get a degree in that. But for me, I think it's better to go stick to the normal CS for bachelor's. Please make sure to only ask CS related questions over here.
The workload for AS and A-level CS is a really little level up from IGCSE CS, if you've done that. From ICT, it's a significant jump, but it's still totally handleable and less than what it would be for the subjects like chemistry or further math.
Math competitions. Yeah, they do.
A lot of the CS stuff that you learn in universities builds up on the base of mathematics. So, for example, considering BSc Computer Science at Cambridge, they ask for further mathematics more than they ask for the computer science subject, which says a lot. And math Olympiads are certainly a plus point in that sense.
For experience, experience means you should know languages for like a while, different languages. You should do personal projects. Internships will also give you experience. And yeah, portfolios as well help. IB or A levels. I mean, it doesn't really matter because uh, most of the CS you do will be in uni. Like whatever you learn in A level, you'll like just learn the same thing in uni at the start at least. You don't need to take CS as a subject, by the way. It's not required because like unis don't even require that. You just need to know like you just need to take like math, chemistry, and physics most of the time.
Also, further maths is a really great plus to take. For example, yes, I shared the Cambridge scenario. A lot of universities consider maths and advanced levels of maths much more important than your CS subjects.
You can
Avenue,
take further maths.
yes, it is totally possible to take further maths. I'm doing it too without add math. It's totally possible.
Logging your projects you usually upload them to GitHub, and you usually make devlogs on YouTube. Or there's also a few like blog websites. You can make your own blog and just put them there on your portfolio as well. If you make a portfolio website, usually some website builders like Framer, they give a CMS, that's a content management system. So you can just basically upload blogs or anything up there onto your portfolio, and it serves as a good base. Blogs, blogs. I mean, there's basically not much of a difference between them. Devlogs, you can make YouTube videos. Either you can make YouTube videos or document what you've done. And blogs is mostly documentation only. So you just post what you have made. Usually for blogs, you don't update as much. You only update a lot for devlogs. Yeah, devlogs show progress, and blogs just show what you've made.
Also, blogs might be the kind of stuff you look at on medium.com or other sites like that, which focus on particular topics that you've covered, particular subject, programming languages, for example, frameworks. But devlogs show your perspective and your profile as a whole. So they focus on you rather than the topic.
Um, for suitable CS fields, it really depends what you want to become in the future. So for people that are interested and intrigued in AI and ML, you take AI and ML if you want. But usually, uh, from what I've seen, most of the CS fields are almost the same, if not the same. There may be a few differences, but usually they're the same. Just they may have a different requirements. Yeah, blogs for a broader picture and devlogs for specific details. So just post blogs when you make something, and post devlogs when you for your progress, what changes you made, like on a weekly basis or a daily basis. You post them on YouTube, or you can post them on your portfolio. I think physics is necessary for computer science.
No, not really. A lot of unis just ask for science, not physics specifically.
Then yeah, okay. White YouTube videos. Usually, you don't have to post a YouTube video. You can also just post daily updates, like on any website or something. I don't know. And for portfolios, a portfolio is just like an about you and your projects. For portfolio, I didn't. Oh, I meant to add a few more things for portfolios. For portfolios, there are a few websites. I recommend either using GitHub Pages and make your own static website using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, or if you want the shorter route, there are two websites I recommend. One is called card.co and one is called framer.com. So I'll just send them. So I personally think Framer is better than Card, but because it gives you more flexibility. But yeah. Does anyone have any more questions? Yeah, CS is mostly math. The slides will either be uploaded to. I think the slides will be uploaded to the resource thing, the resource website, and the video should be uploaded to YouTube. The recording. Yeah, don't limit yourself to CS extracurriculars. You can also do stuff like, um, I don't know, research.
MUNs are a really great thing to do, especially if you're CS. Research does help really well, yes. Clubs, especially.
Yeah, yeah, clubs are important. I mean, this presentation was mainly for computer science ECs. You aren't limited to computer science for extracurriculars. Definitely do others, like you can attend sports competitions and stuff like that. Yeah, and leadership as well. You can be part of your school student council, uh, and having leadership roles is pretty well recognized by universities. Yeah, charity events are good.
Even if you don't win an Olympiad at a very top level, even having a good score or something and including it is never a downside.
Get good at programming. No, you don't need to be good at arts. That's usually for like if you're taking a design course. You just need to know how to program. Obviously, it helps to know how to design stuff, but you don't have to know it. I mean, knowing how to design, it will help because like it'll make you a more capable solo developer if you're good at multiple things that a website requires, like first coding the back end, coding the front end, designing the UI, advertising, stuff like that. If you're good at everything, it'll just make you a better solo developer. Yeah, freelancing is a very good thing to do as a programmer. You can go on Fiverr and just advertise your freelancing services. Like a lot of people freelance for bot development, like I did once. I let people hire me for making a bot for them, stuff like that. You can make websites for people. You can make games for them. You can even make simple programs that made like do web scraping or anything like that. A lot of people hire for web scraping. You'll be surprised. Lead code. Yeah, no, don't. You don't need to buy lead code. Do not buy lead code. There's some extensions which you can get, which lets you get them for free, and also other websites post them. You don't need to buy anything on lead code or anything like that.
Lead code and HackerRank are usually pretty good until you're doing them overkill, and that's when the law of diminishing comes into effect. Like overkill, doing it too much isn't really good, but like having a little bit of practice in lead code and HackerRank, as long as you're not paying for it, it's yeah, really nice.
Yeah, Code Forces is also a really good website for competitive programming questions and stuff.
Also, there's one thing that late code on these websites offer. They actually have the functionality to grade your code's performance. So you know when you're writing an efficient code, which is one thing you normally don't see when you're working in projects and stuff. Because normally with our high-end PCs and stuff, they can run anything, and we don't know whether it will be efficient when it goes to the server. So lead code and all that stuff, they train you in a way that makes your code efficient.
And if you want to test your website or any project you make, there are some testing utilities that will grade your sorry, not website, that will grade your project based on how fast it runs, how well it runs. Like, uh, I can't think of any off the top of my head, but if you sign up for GitHub Education, you do get a few free testing tools that'll help you test your website, grade the performance, and all that.
Yes. One really popular one, and it's built into the Chrome Inspect tool. It's called Lighthouse. So when you're going into Inspect, one of the last tabs would be the performance analysis thing. So Lighthouse tests each like part of your website, the page that's open, its loading times, its rendering times, all that. So when you're writing code that's meant to go for production, running Lighthouse or other similar tools like that is really important.
Look at the presentation. All the resources you need to learn and stuff is just listed over here. Take a screenshot if you want. And if you guys need, we can also send all the links. I think we should send all the links. I'll compile the links. What? You got banned for something? That's crazy.
UAE is banned in Discord. Discord is banned in the UAE.
Damn.
Extracurriculars are best found online, for example, on sites like DevPost. For hackathons, you could go for freelancing online if like there's no local source of that stuff. For example, Fiverr, Upwork, sites like that. You should also have a LinkedIn profile, and LinkedIn is also very fun in terms of projects and that stuff.
For freecodecamp.org, you need to learn from those projects. All those projects, they have tutorials behind them on YouTube. It's called project-based learning, and it's the best way to learn something. Web development is not dead, and I mean, yeah, it is hyped, but it's not dead. It may seem hyped and dead or something because people make basic websites, but Uh, it's really your capabilities. Some people can make incredible websites, and yeah, web development is not dead. Yeah, web development is like every company needs web development.
Also, it might sound like too many people know web development at this point, but truth is, in my opinion, most people don't know it well enough to be able to create whole websites, including the front end and back end, all by themselves. Which is like you should know everything in the field that you're in, and most people don't. So the fact that it's dead, it might seem so because a lot of people boast their skills, but they don't have them at a professional level. There's no excess supply of employees and that stuff.
And also, I want you guys to know that web development is not limited to just websites. Just because just because you hear web development, it does not mean websites. Web development is like it'll range from networking, web servers, APIs, and all that stuff. It's not dead at all. Don't think of web development as only websites. It'll just limit your creativity. Hackathons, you need to know like the basics, like the like at least the basics of how to make how to program something. Doing hackathons, the main thing is getting experience. So you're supposed to learn from the hackathons, learn new frameworks, learn new programming languages if you want, learn new methods of development, and learn teamwork as well. Learning web development for freelancing is a good thing you can do. Just because there's many providers doesn't mean you can't compete with them.
But yes, it's like really advisable to learn it to a really advanced level, but when you're actually realistically able to compete with all the competition, you have to be at the expert level to be able to do that. Once you're done that, there's nothing in the world that can stop you from doing freelancing.
Yeah, and also having experience on your plate will definitely help with freelancing. Usually, people they hire people with like the most experience. Like people need to see your website, your creations before they can understand that you're capable, before they're willing to pay you for something. Python is not enough. You need to learn other languages as well. Wait, for hackathons, Python is enough, yeah. You get experience by making projects and getting internships. Yeah, and hackathons. Uh, you need to know two primary languages and know like maybe uh, 2 to 4 other languages. Like you need to be very comfortable with 2 languages, and then like the other languages you can just learn for leisure or something.
Yes, it's really important to have that basic ability to code in most languages, but having one or two languages that you're really good at and that are really in demand at the current times. For example, JavaScript, it's like it's able to do everything from client side to server side to DevOps to all that stuff. So having programming languages as that as primary is the best thing to have.
Good luck for your internship.
All the best. You slay it for sure.
Also, in your free time, just make sure to learn other things. being versatile is like key for getting internships and jobs and stuff like that. Universities also appreciate it. JavaScript outside of web development. Yeah, I hate JavaScript out of web development, honestly. JavaScript is not a good language.
That is highly subjective. Like, it's totally valid the point that JavaScript is best when it comes to web development, but like with the buildup of community and all, React Native, NativeScript, that stuff has come up. In addition, like the new compilers, for example, Bun, they have really increased the performance of JavaScript to a level where you could use it robustly at server-side levels. So yes, it is like totally a big field for JavaScript, except for web development. A lot of organizations I know, including our IGCSE, use JavaScript for fields other than web development.
In my opinion, Python is better, but just saying. Also, TypeScript. TypeScript is a good language to learn. I think TypeScript has type safety, which just makes your code more efficient. So less time to run and stuff like that. I hate TypeScript, but it's pretty good. Yeah, it's recommended to be good at math.
Yes, at a lower level, at a deeper level, for example, when you're coming to AI or ML, math is highly recommended to have because the concepts based on AI are uh, based in math.
Also, for game development, especially, like TensorFlow JS is not good, bro. TensorFlow JS it's not good. Yeah, Python is better for that. And also, as I was saying, for game development, you really do need math because like you'll need to like program the physics and all that stuff. When I was doing game development, I had like zero math knowledge. Like I didn't even know how to use sine, cos, and tan trigonometry, just basic trigonometry. I didn't know how to use. So I was having a really hard time while doing it. Right now, I mean, websites, web scrapers, just applications. I also make Discord bots, but I haven't made one in a while. I do some competitive programming on the side, but not much. No, I don't do any professional work. I want to, but like I don't know what to do. If you have any suggestions for me, just let me know, because I do want to get into professional stuff. How's that funny? I mean, I've made projects before. I don't know if you can consider them professional, like the website I have up right now. JavaScript powers the entire web. Yeah, okay. But like, I'm interested in web development. That doesn't mean I like JavaScript. Also, you can make websites using Python. Like you don't need JavaScript. I mean, not front end, but back end mostly.
Yes. Also, if you're really not wanting to dip your feet in JavaScript, WebAssembly might be a good thing to explore. It's basically a tool that allows you to run other programming languages in the web, in the browser.
I use JavaScript and TypeScript in web development. I don't really use Python much. I used to use it, but not anymore. I just use Python for like APIs and stuff. Web frameworks, I use my favorite web framework right now is Svelte. I hate React. Um, Flask,
I
I know
love React.
Flask. I know Flask. I know Django. I have tried Ruby on Rails, but I don't really like it. But I like Ruby as a language itself. I've made static websites. Yeah, Svelte is insane, bro. It's better than React. I also tried Svelte. At the first time I tried Svelte, I did not understand a single thing. But then the second time I came to it, like after like a month or something, I understood everything and I loved it. Actually, try Svelte. It's really nice. And also, Svelte 5 got released recently. Yeah, that's what I use. I know SvelteKit. SvelteKit is amazing.
SvelteKit is like the holy grail when it comes to performance,
Yeah,
especially compared to stuff like Angular.
try SvelteKit, bro. It's amazing. It's like the best developer experience I've ever had. Like React is trash compared to it. Like
I mean,
sorry,
yeah,
I mean
when it comes
Next.js.
to
Next.js.
when it comes to DX Next.js, yes, it sucks really bad, but I have to use it because like it has the community and stuff.
Yeah,
It's natural that way.
if you have a tech stack that you already use, I guess switching doesn't really make sense because you're already
Mhm.
comfortable with something.
True. Yes.
I mean, yeah, but I personally think it's a good thing to like know multiple different tech stacks. So right now, my best one is probably SvelteKit. Then just for the database, I usually use Postgres. I do want to learn Redis database, and later I'll be learning Angular. And also, I saw this nice animation framework. It's called GSAP. I really want to learn it. I mean, I haven't tried Redis yet. I'll see. But Postgres is like the best one I use right now. Yeah, GSAP is really good. I love how it looks. Like I just love how exactly it works. Yeah, the thing is I hate React, so I won't be using it at all. I mean, Framer is also good for SvelteKit. Svelte and SvelteKit is pretty good. And I'll be learning Angular as well, so GSAP is a good thing to learn. Tips on
Tips
being
on being
productive.
productive. Jinx. Okay, I'd suggest keep coming up with project ideas which will keep you on track and keep you grooming, and you'll stay in practice that way. Also, be in the search at all times for internships, projects, hackathons. Like that stuff really gets you socialized. So that's a really nice excuse to trick your mind into having to do that if you're not like intrinsically really passionate about it. But if you are, that's the best thing. Being passionate is the really best thing.
I mean, Svelte developer experience is good, and the actual like performance is also really good. Like it's pretty comparable, if not better, than React. Like maybe React is popular, but honestly, Svelte is better. Yeah, Next.js has ISR, I heard, so yeah, it's pretty good.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone who stayed to the end. Thank you for your time.